Hey y'all, grab your ultralight, grab your bait rods, and let's go. We're making a bait run today. I'm on my Ohio fishing road trip, and right now I'm on Hoover Reservoir trying to catch some bait so I can go after some catfish either later on this afternoon or tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna bring y'all with me while we do it here. Finally bring y'all with me anyway, I should say. I've been trying to get away from people out here so we can have a little fishing time, but here's what we're gonna be throwing. This is a 1/64 ounce jig head, number 8 size hook with a 1-inch Gulp minnow in the smelt color, 2-pound test line, and boy, there's a siren going off over here. I don't know what the hell that is, but it's always something, man. We got my rod here, but that siren's distracting me. We got a St. Croix Panfish Series rod. It's 6 foot long, ultralight action, 2-pound line, and a 1,000 size reel. And I'm just gonna beat the banks out here. I'm in a creek. I launched my kayak. I don't know if you can see over there, there's a dock across the channel, and I put in, and there were some people fishing close to the dock, so I thought I'll just run across the channel. And I get over here, and there's a cluster of kayakers up here. There's a little pocket up here around this part. There's a cluster of kayakers and another fisherman. And so I come back down here, and I thought we'll start here. Maybe we can try to avoid some people here best we can. For a weekday morning, it's pretty crowded out here. But anyway, I'm on Hoover Reservoir here in, I believe this is Westerville, Ohio. I believe it's the town, but it's in Columbus. Oh, something's hit me there. Had a little nip. But anyway, yesterday I fished Sandusky Bay. I come over here yesterday evening, got here kind of late. But I went out this morning and to do some carp fishing here. I'm kind of just on a fishing adventure, man, doing a little bit of everything. Cat fishing, carp fishing, ultralight fishing, doing it all. And went out this morning carp fishing because I was told there was some big carp and big buffalo here on Hoover. And you know how many I caught? Zilch, 0, none, nada. So, wasted some time with that. But we're out here now. We're making the most of it. We're gonna just take a section of this creek or pocket. I think it's a creek. We're gonna go back through here. We're just gonna beat the banks. There's some rocks over here. Oh, here's a fish too. Whatever we catch that's legal to keep, we're taking it. Whether it's bluegill, crappie. Oh, it's a nice bluegill here. Yeah, that's a nice one there. First fish of the video, nice bluegill. But whether it's bluegill, crappie, perch, we're taking it all, folks. I'm not going to discriminate. Put that bluegill there in my bag and my cooler. I actually did, I take that back. I didn't get completely skunked while I was carp fishing this morning. I did catch one perch, yellow perch, on my carp setup. I had a night crawler on one of my hooks, and so got me a perch. So I threw him in the cooler. But otherwise, carp fishing did not go well, but hopefully the catfishing, there's another fish. Hopefully the catfishing is gonna make up for it. Here on Hoover, they've been stocking blue cats for a number of years. And it's not uncommon to get some 40-inch class blue cats out here. So I'm hoping to get on some of those either this afternoon or tomorrow. It really depends on how long it's gonna take us to get loaded up on bait here. Either way, we're done bait fishing. I'm gonna go grab some lunch, and depending on what time it is then, I'll get after the cats possibly. But I thought, if I can get away from some people here. I tried filming this morning during the carp session, but oh, well, I had another one hit me. But that just didn't go as planned. So I had high hopes, man. I really wanted to get me a big carp and buffalo. Didn't work out. But anyway, this is day 2 of my Ohio fishing adventure. I drove up, I guess technically day 3, but day 2 of fishing. I had driven up on Monday, spent the night, fished yesterday, which was Tuesday, on Sandusky Bay, at least the first part of the day. Then drove it was a little over 2 hours, about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get from Sandusky Bay to Columbus. And got in town, and so we're going after today and tomorrow. We're gonna fish, and then I'm gonna drive home. Oh, if I got him, yeah, I got him. Couldn't catch up with him. This one here is gonna be, we're gonna throw this one back. That's a little smaller than what I want to keep. But I'm gonna fish, whether I fish this afternoon or not, I'm definitely fishing tomorrow morning. And then I'm gonna drive back. I gotta get Daphne the dog tomorrow evening. So I gotta be home to pick her up. But we're gonna have us some fun on this little road trip. Even though this morning with the carp was a letdown, yesterday morning, them old channel cats in Sandusky Bay, bad as I hate to admit it, they're a pretty good time. You get on them bigger channel cats, they're more fun than the smaller ones that I got at home, for sure. So we had our fun with that. But here's the thing, out there on Sandusky Bay, man, I'm dragging around chicken and catching big channel cats. Here's a fish. Oh, what's a crappie? Oh, crappie. Boy, there's a bunch of, I got my dang graph on here, but I ain't paying attention to it. It's gonna beat the banks. Oh, this crappie's ate this jig kind of deep too, and I think he's gonna be too short for us to keep. Come on, give me that thing back, crappie. There we go. Yeah, I ain't putting him on the board. He's way too short to keep. Got to be 9 inches out here to keep a crappie. But that's a good sign, man. I literally just come around this pocket here to get away from the people. And we're gonna start casting here, and boy, we're on them right away. That's a good sign. Last year was the first time I'd ever fished Hoover Reservoir. And I did some ultralight fishing last year. And it was a good time, man. I caught lots of bluegill, lots of crappie. It was really fun. And so I definitely wanted to bring my ultralight rod with me this time, not only just from a perspective of needing bait, but also too, just from the fact that I enjoy doing this. This is fun. I could spend a day doing this. But the fact we're getting bit so quickly here right away, very good sign. There's riprap right here, rocks, and this comes off. I'm sitting in 11 feet of water here where I'm at. So, I mean, it drops off pretty quick right here. Water temp's 72, which is significantly cooler here than what it is back home right now. I was surprised this morning. I got on the water about sunrise to go after them carp. It was very comfortable. Now it's heated up now. But I mean, it was very comfortable this morning. And I don't know if it's just unseasonably cool up here in Ohio or if that's just normal summertime temperatures. But I mean, it was very reasonable. Oh, did I just get, well, whatever fish we was on over here, we about to spook them because I'm gonna go get this jig back. Goal number 1 today, catch some fish. Goal number 2, don't lose a bunch of jigs. You think we'll accomplish either one of them goals? I got a feeling we're gonna catch fish. I don't know about not losing jigs. That's gonna be debatable. Well, let's make our way along here and make some more casts. This wind's kind of blowing down in this creek a little bit. I'd hit spot lock while I got my camera gear out, and it had spun me that other way. So we may have to just kind of make our way along, hit the spot lock, make a few casts, move along, spot lock again. That may be what we have to do possibly, just to be able to easily fish, because this wind, it's not blowing hard. but it's blowing just hard enough to really get the kayak moving. And y'all know kayaks, man, it don't take a lot of wind to move a kayak because they're so lightweight. And so if we're gonna have to work this jig down several feet, we're gonna need to be setting still, basically. What I'm getting at. Yeah. Oh, boy, it wouldn't hit me as I was about to reel it in here. We're gonna throw him back. Times get hard today. We may keep some this size, but right now I'm gonna throw that one back. Here's what let's do. If this wind's gonna move us like this, let's me and you hit that spot lock button for me, would you? Let's spin back around here, and I want you to hit that button for me. I brought my Hobie kayak up here on this trip. Got the motor and fancy gadgets. I lugged my battery into the hotel last night, and I was instantly regretting bringing this kayak. It's nice having all these gadgets, like the motor and graph and all that, but boy, when you got to break a kayak down, carry batteries into your hotel and all that to charge, like, ain't quite as much fun then. But yeah, y'all, Hoover Reservoir here. For those of you maybe never been here, not familiar with it, they started putting blues in here several years back, and they've gotten really big. Everything else that you would want to catch, though, bluegill, crappie, bass, perch, they got a little bit of everything in here. And it's I don't even know how you would classify it as far as sizes go. I mean, compared to the reservoirs I fish back home on the Tennessee River, this is very small. But, I mean, this is a pretty good sized body of water. I mean, you could go from one end to the other in a kayak, but it would take you all day. And the greatest thing about this reservoir, and I love this about it, and I enjoyed the hell out of this last year. Boy, I thought I had a fish, and I stuck it in something down there. We may lose our first jig right here. I'm excited about telling you how I'm excited, and I set the hook in something solid. There it come. We got it back. Well, we done spooked any fish that were here, so now let's keep moving along. But anyway, I was trying to tell you my excitement. This body of water is horsepower restricted, 10 horsepower maximum. So that means if you get a boat, you take this pontoon boat right here, let's say they got a boat motor that's bigger than 10 horsepower, they can't use it. Now, the boats out here probably, I'd say most of them have 10 horsepower on, if they're somebody that's living out here or something. But let's say you bring your pontoon or your bass boat or whatever down here to fish. If it's more than 10 horsepower, you can't crank the engine. And that's nice, man. For people like me, that's nice. Which is probably why you see so many people out. Like even out here today on a weekday, there's multiple kayakers out here. Not even just fishing, just recreationally. Like it's really nice. But I'm gonna take a section either this afternoon or tomorrow. Right now, I'm in the middle of the reservoir. Red Roof's a cheap hotel. I think this is called Red Bank or something. I'm in this area, middle section. I'm gonna fish the upper end there for catfish. We got a tournament coming up. And I pretty much know where I want to go and what I want to do, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just come up and pre-fish if I can, just to try to get a feel for where fish are at, what depth they're hanging out at, if there's any specific type of bait maybe they're keyed in on. Of course, with me forgetting to bring my cast net, we're gonna be down one option as far as bait goes. Lots of shad in here, but unfortunately, I ain't gonna catch them without a net. And I don't know, there could be some bait shops around here that possibly sell them, but if they do, they're probably selling them froze, and I don't want to fool with frozen shad. With me, I'm gonna be dragging when I fish. And when you're dragging, obviously you got your lines going off way far behind you there. Sometimes you get a bait like shad that's real soft, especially after it's been froze, it's mushy. You get that kind of bait, you get a little tap, your bait gets ripped off, you don't even know it, and you're running around with fishing on credit, you know, you ain't got no bait on your hook. So I would prefer not to fish with like a frozen shad. If I use them, I want them fresh. Way at least they're a little bit tougher. Will stay on the hook a little better. But we ain't gonna be having no shad this time, so it's gonna be bluegill, my one perch that I have so far, and if we can get some crappie that are over 9 inches, they're going on a hook too. They are a legal bait to use in Ohio, as long as, kind of the same rules as Tennessee, as long as they're caught on rod and reel and meet the minimum size requirements, you can use them up here. Now, I don't know what the creel limits are as far as how many you can keep, but I'm not going to be keeping very many if we get on them anyway. I just need me 6 or 8, really all I would need. So I'm sure the limit is well over that. Now the 9 inch, that's going to be our biggest deterrent, is the 9 inch. Last year, while I caught a bunch of crappie outside of an area where they were spawning, we fished up here for our tournament in May last year. And obviously now, hell, it's middle of summer, so all them crappie that were nesting when we were here last year, and super easy to get, they're off the nest now. So when I had fished places, I can't remember where I'd put in at last year and got on. I did an ultralight trip. It's on my channel there. I can't remember exactly where I'd put in at on that trip. But anyway, I caught a ton of crappie. Most of them were small. They were sub 9 inches. So I fear that may be the case today too. Possibly beating the banks here. I would assume. Now I got my live scope here. Maybe get out there in open water and look for them, especially on the upper end. The upper end's basically one big mud flat. And so that's what I fished in the tournament last year for catfish, was just work that, just dragging through that area. And I'm assuming, I don't know how many people we're gonna have in our catfish tournament here, but I'd about be willing to bet that 90%, at least 80% for sure, will all be fishing the upper end of the reservoir. Probably all doing the same thing. So that's why I really wanted to tinker around and see if I can figure out something, just anything, to give me a little bit of an edge, whether it be a type of bait, a speed, you know, can I move a little faster, move a little slower and trigger a bite? Anything like that. Can I figure out a depth that they seem to be holding at? Is there a thermocline situation? You know, all of those things, anything that can give me a competitive advantage, that's what I'm looking for when I'm coming up early and pre-fishing an area. So that's what we want to figure out when we start catfishing, but we need to get us some bait. I'd like to have something besides bluegill. If bluegill's all we have, we're gonna go with it. I mean, you gotta play the hand you dealt. If the water gives you bluegill, then stick them on a hook and go with it. But Ideally, we'd like to have some crappie. Last year, the bait that got it done for me was crappie. But time of year, crappie were spawning. Because I know back home, and granted the climate's different here than back home. They're about a month behind up here from where we are back home as far as like water temperatures and spawning habits and all that. So when our crappie are spawning back home, crappie's a really good bait to use. But once you get on into the summer months back home, I don't typically do very well on crappie. It's more of a late winter, early spring bait for me when it does well. And so last year, we're here in May, crappie was the bait. But with them being past the spawn here, with us fishing up here later in the summer, I don't know if it will be as good a bait this year. I want to try it out and see, but I don't know. Just one of them things, you know, just, you don't know what you don't know, as the old saying goes. I know we started out well when we moved through this little branch here, and now all of a sudden we ain't getting bit no more. We'll need y'all to catch some fish now. This is getting ridiculous here. We got all these overhanging trees and whatnot. There's got to be something on them. Got to be. It's actually pretty deep right here. We're sitting 22 feet. Yeah, we're gonna throw it all this stuff, man. I'd probably be better served. In hindsight, here's what I wish I'd done. I wish I'd went and got bait this morning, because one, it would have been first light, so fish would have probably been a lot more active. Two, the wind wasn't up as much this morning. I could have carp fished, got my bait this morning, carp fished the afternoon, and you get skunked anytime. I didn't need to do that first thing. I can't believe I didn't catch anything though. Nothing, not a bite, man, well, other than the perch. But not a bite from a carp. Didn't see any. I guess I was just in the wrong place. They in here. I don't know if they's big 40, 50 pound buffalo like people claim or not, but there's fish in here for sure. I didn't see or catch a one of them this morning. I do, well, I was gonna say, I do still have that chicken left over from yesterday in my cooler, but I really don't want to use that. Times get hard, I guess I would just to have something to bait a hook with, but I mean, I don't want to. Just put it at that, like I don't want to. You gotta do what you gotta do, but I don't want to. But I did manage to get some sleep last night. I stayed there in Sandusky night before last to Comfort Inn. Worst Comfort Inn I've ever stayed at. I mean, worst by a mile. And I stayed last night, and I'm gonna stay tonight too, at a place called the Cambria. And it's over by the Cabela's there in Columbus. Nice area. But it's cheaper. Get this crap. This place called the Cambria, it's cheaper than where I stayed up there in Sandusky. And way nicer. I mean, I'm talking way nicer. The rooms are nicer. It's cleaner. It's quieter. The beds are better. Like everything about it's better. Now you don't get no free breakfast anyway. They got a restaurant in there. You ain't getting it for free though. But still, cheaper than what I was getting. Oh, something hit me. Cheaper than what I had going for me there at the Comfort Inn in Sandusky. I also, here's a little helpful tip for any of you traveling out there. Some of you probably already know about this. So typically when I'm going to be staying somewhere traveling, I usually get on the internet sites like Expedia, and there's Kayak.com. There's a few of them, them travel sites, and you look around to compare prices and whatnot. But I was trying to look up that hotel because I'd stayed there at the Cambria last year, and it was a lot cheaper last year. It's more expensive now, like everything else in the world. But I was looking for it, and so I got on their website. And it was cheaper on their website than any of the Expedia type places. And not only did I save money on there, but by booking on their website, I got, for every night you stay, you get to pick a reward, I guess. You had an option, but every night you stay, you'd get something, and it would either be $250 in Amazon credit. There was like a Starbucks option on there. I think some kind of points system. You picked what you wanted your reward to be. So I buy on Amazon all the time. So I picked that. So I ended up, I booked 2 nights there at the Cambria, and I got $5 in Amazon gift cards. And as soon as I booked it, I got the email that they had sent me that credit. So I put the little code in there, my gift card balance. I thought, hell, that's something I'm going to look at in the future, because most of the time when I travel, I'll just look at those discount sites like the Expedia type things. I never actually go to the hotel website itself. Like, I never do that. So I'm gonna start checking that in the future and see if that don't save some cash. I'll tell you what we were about to do in a minute though. Man, we were catching some fish around the corner there. And now we started working back up in here and ain't getting a diddly doo-doo. We may go back out there and go back the way we came, or head back down the other. I don't know if this like a creek that branches off or what. We took a left, we could have went straight. So we may just go back out there and go straight and see what's going on. Back in here ain't getting it done. I didn't bring y'all out here to not catch fish. We're working today. We're trying to get bait. We're having fun, but this is a bait run, people. We gotta get serious about this now. I almost wish I'd brought some skipjack with me. Skipjack aren't native here to Hoover. Oh, that hit. They're not native to Hoover. You can use them. They're legal to use because they are native to the state of Ohio. They're not native to this body of water. Hold on, we got a boat going by, bear with me. You know I don't like talking about people, around people. I don't mind talking about people, but I don't like talking around them. Howdy. They're leaving out of here. They must not be no fish back here, else they wouldn't be leaving. But them skipjack, since they're not native to this water, are fish used to eating on them? I mean, other than fishermen, probably, or people just dumping their bait, that's probably the only skipjack they've ever been exposed to since those fish were stocked in here. Now, last year I brought some. I did catch some fish on skipjack, but crappie was really the bait. But I wish I'd brought some with me today just because I'd have more confidence in it than bluegill. There's a brush pile. What do you know? Right there. Let's back off this thing a second, folks. Live scope's paying dividends right here. We're gonna have a hard time. Well, we're in it. By gosh. Actually, I think I'm reeling part of it up. Maybe I'm just reeling myself toward it. I think I am reeling part of it up. Yeah, I am. We got part of that old brush pile free, didn't we? This right here is going to be the biggest thing we catch all day. It's stickfish here. Weighs $3.50. Well, spotted that dang brush pile there. I just happened to look over at the graph and saw it. Now we done lifted half of it up. Let's do this. Let's cut across over here. Let's fish the shaded side of the bank and work our way back out of here. Because we're not getting bit back in here. I'm seeing bait, like there's a bunch of bait right there. Shad, whatnot. But as far as bluegill, crappie, things like that, we're just not getting them. I'm gonna take my time going across through here, y'all. I don't want to burn all my battery up on the bait run in case I go this afternoon. I don't want to, obviously don't want to have to go back to a hotel and charge a battery for a little while. That makes for a rough day. It sucked carrying my battery in last night. I should have brought my pedal kayak. That's what I should have done. Out there on Sandusky, it's nice having that motor. Anytime you're going to drag baits, it's nice having the motor and the GPS functions and all that. But just the hassle of traveling with it. Like I don't feel good leaving that graph on the kayak out in the parking lot all night, so I gotta take it off. Gotta take the battery inside. And the battery, I've got a lithium, it's not heavy compared to a lead acid battery. But it's still about 30 pounds. And you gotta lug that in and your charger and your stuff. And it's just, you know me, I'm lazy. When I go somewhere, I just want to fish. That's like when I go down there to Florida. I've went down there the last few winters. I take my pedal kayak and boy, I tell you, it's nice. the less stuff you travel with, you like having this stuff on the water, but traveling with it, hotels, charging batteries, all that. If you can get by without that stuff, it's worthwhile not to take it. I ended up yesterday, I had this guy and his grandkid hollering at me while I was out there filming, and I was talking about that in the video, like that's a tough situation, because like I'm filming. You know, I don't want to be rude to people, but at the same time too, like I'm doing something. You know, me trying to interact with people out on the water while I'm filming, like that's just not the best time. Like I'm all for chit-chatting and hanging out with people at the boat ramp either before, here's a fish finally, or our drought's over, y'all. Bluegill, it's a small one though. But like I'm all for people want to come up to me there, boat ramps, either while I'm getting ready to launch or when I'm loading up, that's fine. But on the water, it's tough. So anyway, I was filming and I couldn't go over to these people. And I felt bad about it. So when I finished up, when I got done fishing, they were still out there. And so I went and talked with them, apologized to them and everything. And they were real nice and whatnot, but they were catching their fish suspended out. They were suspending baits. where I'd been dragging all morning. They were suspended. And of course, I caught several fish. Got some good-sized channel cats, and they had caught several fish. Pretty much anything you do out there on Sandusky, like if you've got a bait near the fish, like you got a real chance. Here's, oh, I had one hit me. About ripped us off there, didn't he? Yeah, but anyway, I went and talked to them people a little while, and they were real nice. And they were understanding, you know. I apologized because I couldn't just stop what I was doing to go over there. And I didn't want to holler and try to have a conversation with that much distance between us either, because, I mean, I got a microphone on, and that's going to be detrimental to the video to be yelling at somebody. Aside from the fact that it takes away from the video itself, just yelling into the microphone's a whole separate issue. But yeah, I could have, in hindsight, brought my pedal kayak and just suspended baits out there on Sandusky yesterday. Because the boat launch right there, where I put in at, it's close to where I was fishing, real close. There's a boat ramp right there between those two bridges on the bay. And so I used it, and it cost $10. That's highway robbery. Especially when I got back and realized birds had crapped all over my car. I got 20 piles of crap on my car, man. 20 at least. Like I feel like every bird in the area took turns crapping on my car while I was fishing at Sandusky yesterday. But aside from that, the locations for that ramp is really good. I see fish on the graph there, but we're not catching them, so I actually see more under us really than anywhere. Drop that thing down. Let that thing sit there a second. I see some fish in that brush. I don't know what they are though. Probably bluegill. They're not very big. Yeah, let's keep moving along. We were doing so much better before we come back in here. I can't believe y'all talked me into coming back here. What'd you do that for? You knew damn well we weren't gonna catch nothing back here, and you talked me into it anyway. Y'all supposed to be my fishing partners now. But yeah, man, Ohio road trip, fishing trip. We're halfway through it basically. Since we're at the halfway point of the day, I'm just coming up and fishing 3 days. The weather looked good. Wind's supposed to be up a little bit tomorrow afternoon up here, but I'm gonna be fishing till about lunch anyway, and then I gotta head back to get my dog. My dad's having shoulder surgery on Friday, so I gotta make sure I get Daphne. They're watching Daphne right now, my parents are. So I gotta pick her up tomorrow, Thursday evening. Because we sure don't want my dad getting a shoulder replacement and coming home and then Daphne the dog knocking him over or something, because she's wild and acts a fool. You know how she is. You've seen her on video. I feel like you get the calm, cute, loving puppy version of her. I get the demon child. That's what I get. She acts like a perfect angel for the camera. Everybody just loves her. Like, oh, Justin, you've got the best dog ever. I'm like, she's the devil. She ran off on me again. Here I have been complimenting her lately, how good she's been overall. And she has, for the most part. She's gotten a lot better. But she ran off on me the other night. Normally, when she runs off, she goes up the street to my neighbor that's got some dogs. He actually keeps dogs. like boards them and stuff for people. And normally she goes up there because she likes playing with his dogs. Let's get out here where we were. In fact, we spooked all them fish because I got on top of them over there when I got snagged. Let's go over here and go back where we started a little bit, because we were actually catching fish there. Y'all come with me while we run. I'm gonna tell you the Daphne story. See, oh hell, there's a guy over there. Gosh dang it, man, there's people everywhere. All right, scrap that idea. We'll go over here and go around the other side. I'm really surprised how many people's out here for a weekday morning, really midday at this point. I'm really surprised. I guess it's like this all the time though, probably. I don't know. But, so Daphne, she always goes up the street there, plays with his dogs, and he'll get her for me. Like he has a fenced in backyard. And so he'll put Daphne in there with his dogs, and then I can go up there and get her. Easy peasy. Well, Daphne's decided to make new friends. This time, she went toward the highway, which is very dangerous because them cars, I mean, it's a highway. They're flying up and down through there. They're not going to stop if she gets out there in the road. So very concerning that she's going that way now when she gets out. But, oh, fish. When we get out here, oh, it's another crappie. Small one though. But anyway, she made some friends where she ended up with, and they called me. So we got a phone number there on her collar. So when she does run off, whoever she runs off to can give me a holler and I can come get her. They were really nice people. But they had several dogs and cats, and so Daphne made friends. They gave her a bunch of treats, which, you know, I don't mind people giving Daphne treats. But in that situation, I kind of feel like it's rewarding her bad behavior, because now she has a reason. Now she's like, not only are there dogs here for me to play with, but they feed me also. They give me treats. So I feel like it maybe encouraged her to possibly go back again in the future, which I don't want her doing because I don't want her getting out there in the highway. But thankfully they called. That's the most important thing. Here we go. I think it's a little better one here, maybe. Crappie. We'll throw this one on the board. Oh, he put that hook right in my hand. I could have done without that fish. Did it go past the barb? No. This is going to be short. Short crappie. That's what we dealt with last year, folks. Not even 8 inches. But it's funny, we get out of this branch of this creek and immediately start catching fish again. I don't know what it is about that area back there, but they just ain't biting back there. Or there ain't nothing back there one. We saw a little bit on the graph, but come out here, get back on these rocks, immediately get bit again. We'll just keep making our way down through here. That other fellow over there behind us, he's going the direction that we came from, so Godspeed. Hopefully he has better luck than we did. I could make a road trip though, just this right here. I wouldn't want to bring this kayak. Take my pedal kayak, take my ultralight rod, some jig heads and some Gulp, and just go. And that would be a fun adventure. Like I couldn't do that now with my YouTube channel, because obviously my channel's primarily catfishing. I mean, that's what most people tune in for, catfishing. So, I mean, I couldn't do a week-long road trip where I go and, because here in my mind, go with me on this. This is kind of how I would want to do it in my mind, I think, is go somewhere, like you take here just in Ohio, for instance, there's this body of water, there's another, I think, East Aluminum Creek. I could be completely butchering it. There's something with an Alum Creek lake. It's close by. There's a Cowan Lake up here somewhere. Like, there's all these various little lakes and reservoirs and stuff. You could go do a morning session, ultralight, 2 or 3 hours, hit one lake, drive a little ways, grab some lunch, rest, hit the evening hours somewhere else, get a hotel, next morning get up, drive to the next one, do the same thing. Like, you could hit a couple bodies of water a day and cover, I mean, and really get a vast array of different bodies of water, different lakes, rivers and stuff. And who knows how many fish you would catch, or different species and whatnot. Like, that would be super fun. And you could do it all with one rod and a basic kayak setup. Like, traveling with it would be a breeze. You could launch anywhere. So when you show up somewhere at one of these lakes and maybe the launch is not good, or you got to drag your kayak away, it's like not a big deal at all. Like, I could have some fun doing that. But if I did that kind of thing, then I would have, I mean, if I filmed a video, if I fished 2 bodies of water a day for a week, let's say you ended up getting 10 videos, it'd be 10 videos in a row of ultralight fishing. And while some of yous would certainly watch, I think my regular viewers that tune in to see catfishing would probably be, bottom line is, I think it would have a negative impact on what I'm doing channel-wise. From a fun perspective, though, like, I could totally get into that. You wouldn't have to twist my arm to do it, because I love ultralight fishing anyway. Here's what I need to do, though. I need to put my buff over my head, y'all. Bear with me a second. As somebody's honking the horn over there like crazy. Sirens. Got to put my buff over my head and try to keep from getting a mesh patterned sunburn on my bald spot. That happened last year. The hairdresser girl was making fun of me. I went and get my hair cut because I had a tan, a mesh patterned tan on my head. I got my Braves hat on today, so it's a different mesh pattern than my Kayak Catfish hat. I wore my Braves hat into the hotel last night. Oh, I set the hook hard on that rock. Felt good too when I went to pick up on it. But anyway, I wore it into the hotel last night, and I come out this morning, obviously wearing that same hat, and then forgot to switch it out when I got on the water. I'm a terrible salesman, folks. It's hard to sell a damn Kayak Catfish hat when I ain't even wearing a dang thing. Every time I wear a Braves hat, people think it's an Alabama hat for some reason. They don't know the difference in the A's between the Alabama and the Braves. Boy, that thing's down in them rocks, man. We ain't getting that in back. Dadgummit, man. We had done so good about not breaking off. All right, folks. Where are we at on this mess? Well, hey, we made it almost an hour in before we broke off. That's That's pretty good. I've had worse situations. I've had some trips here lately where I feel like I break off about every other cast, it seems like. Definitely not having that problem so far today, so that's good. We do have a problem of not catching very large crappie, though. We need some better class crappie and some better class bluegill today, or we're going to be having a hard time with the catfish. I'm going to go catfishing regardless. But if you don't see a, boy, I can't see that damn thing. My reading glasses in my other kayak. There we go, third time's a charm. If you don't see a catfish video after this, or if you see a catfish video and it ain't on Hoover, things didn't go well for me. I'm planning on filming, but I ain't gonna post no skunk video or a video where I just get not much action. I want a video that's worth watching, obviously. So you'll be in the know if things don't go well for me. I should have brought some skipjack with me just to be safe, but I should have for damn sure brought my cast net. I can't believe I left that thing at the house. Because I had planned on, I know shad's pretty easy to get here, and we've seen a bunch of shad there on the screen. Like, I could have definitely netted some shad. I don't want to go buy a net just for one trip. I don't even know where you could get a good net at up here. I mean, I'm sure Cabela's has some over there that's probably them cheap kind that ain't got much weight and ain't very good. But I don't know about getting a good quality cast net that you'd actually want to use. May have to go to like a little mom and pop tackle shop around here or something. I'm sure there's a few of those around. I just have to look them up. I'm impressed with the climate up here, though. I mean, right now, it was cool this morning. Now it's hot, but it's not miserably humid. Like, it's a comfortable hot. I don't know how people up here feel about it. I don't know if this is the normal climate or if it's unusually cool. Like, I don't know enough about Ohio. Only thing I know is that their football teams suck. People up here, you say OH, somebody will yell out IO. That's their thing up here. We just say go Vols where I come from. Boy, it's weird how we've stopped getting bit again. I want to go back over there where we was at to begin with. They were actually catching them there. That other boy was over there. I wonder if it's a situation where maybe we need to be fishing more toward the main channel, possibly. You think that's it, maybe? As the further we got back in here, the worse we've done. We'll go a little bit further back through here, but we may make a run back and pick up. Hopefully that guy's gone. We can pick up where we were catching fish when I started and then go back up the other direction. There's a leaf over there hit that water. I thought something falling from the sky. Like on, remember the Hunger Games, the Katniss Everdeen? They'd send them little drone packages down. Katniss Everdeen is the love of my life. She doesn't know it, but Jennifer Lawrence is, that's my soulmate, I think. Don't tell her I said that either, because I'm sure she gets enough weirdos and crazies after her all the time. I'm probably not the only person out there that wishes she was my soulmate. I can't imagine. Like, I know how much just me having a fledgling YouTube channel, I know how many weirdos I interact with in the comment box and email and sometimes in real life. I can't imagine, though, having like actual fame, especially as a woman, like a Jennifer Lawrence or pick any big female movie star, Julia Roberts or a Taylor Swift. I mean, come on, Taylor Swift's probably the most popular person on the planet right now. I can't imagine how many weirdos they deal with just on a regular, probably daily basis. Like, I can't imagine what they must go through. I don't want to imagine. I'll never have that problem of getting to that level of fame, obviously, but that would be the biggest drawback for me would have to be, because I mean, hell, I don't like interacting with people now. Like, I'm the worst YouTuber of all time. Like, I don't know how I've lasted this long with me being just completely antisocial. Like, I don't fit in this community. But there's no way I could handle being the kind of famous that somebody like a Jennifer Lawrence is, or a Taylor Swift, a Julia Roberts. I guess people would say, well, if you're making that kind of money, I guess you'd put up with it. I don't know that it'd be worth it, even for the money. I had that conversation. I'm pretty sure it was in one of these raw and uncut videos. I don't know which one. They all run together to me. Well, I was having that conversation recently at some point about how, let's say I hit the lottery and I won a large sum of money, life-changing amount of money. How would my life change exactly? Because I have everything I want. I have everything I need. What would, I mean, other than, obviously you would have a level of financial security where you wouldn't have to worry about money ever again if you were just filthy rich, like one of these actresses or musicians or whatever. But as far as lifestyle goes, like, I don't think anything would change for me. Maybe I get the Kobe beef steaks or something. I don't know. Beyond that, like, I like doing what I like doing. I already live the best life I can possibly live. Just waking up and going fishing whenever and wherever the hell I want, when I want. Like, what's going to change about my life? So I don't know. I know the people that always have that debate and stuff, when it's about athletes or movie stars or whatever, it always goes back to money. We're like, well, yeah, they've got to deal with all that stuff, but look how much money they make. I don't know. Once you get to a certain level of money, like, what more are you going to do with it? Unless you just have really extravagant tastes. Oh, I had a fish right then. I mean, If you want that private jet or the Mercedes and fur coats and all that, I guess then to get that level of wealth, you got to put up with that kind of stuff. But me personally, I don't have any desire for those kind of things. I'm pretty happy with the life that I have. The only thing I want really is just more time. Every day that passes, I'm one day closer to the grave, and I just want unlimited amount of time, and you can't buy that. You can buy your freedom. Once you get your freedom, I feel like at this point, that's where my money goes. My money goes to buy me freedom. The freedom, the money I spend and the money that I don't spend by not making dumb purchases buys my freedom from having to do a normal job that would tie up an incredible amount of my time and energy. Because not only when you've got a job that you hate, not only does it take up your time as far as the hours that you're clocked in actually on the job, but it also just zaps your life energy. I'm sure some of y'all out there can relate. You go in, you work your 8 hours, 12 hours, 10 hours, however long your work day is. And you get home from doing a job you hate and you're miserably tired, mentally exhausted. Let's go back up here, y'all. The farther we work our ways back, whether it's back this way or in the other branch of this creek, we're not getting bit back here. I think we need to work out toward the channel maybe. But once you've reached a level where you can kind of get your freedom, I don't really think anything changes beyond that. You know what I mean? Let's make a run up here. There's this other guy. He's best of luck if he comes this way too. I'm gonna go around, give him some space. Oh hell, we got the stem live scope transducer down. That's what's slowing us down. Now that ought to speed us up. Give me a second here, y'all. Let's get around people. Get me a gulp while I'm at it. All right, let's see if we can't get back over here where we started, and we'll work our way up toward the main channel. Because, we need some bait, y'all. We need it in a bad way. I'll sit out here and talk to you all daggone day and make these casts and have fun with the fish we do catch, but we need to catch some fish. We gotta get after here. But yeah, we worked down in that branch there. We worked down the other way. We just ain't getting bit going that way. I think we're gonna try go from here out toward the channel. Let's put our live scope back down in case we see something fun and exciting down there. And going into the wind, we can hit the spot lock and make a few casts, make life easier on us too. Yeah, we'll work our way up through here. We need some bigger crappies, what we need, folks. I think they're going to be probably up there, the upper end. I know last year when we were here earlier in the spring, they were way up there in that cove. So I imagine them fish, when they're done spawning, they probably come out in kind of that mud flat area and just suspend would be my guess. Amateur crappie fisherman observation. But I'm so bad with live, I mean, even seeing them on the live scope, like, I'm just so bad at targeting them. I should have brought my 10-foot rod. I'd got one of those months ago and talked to you all about using it, and I never used it again. It's been sitting in my shed. It's always in the way. Oh, I think something hit there. Okay. Thought I felt a thump. This bluegill here is going to come with us. He ain't very big, but we're about to get to that point now where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take whatever I can get here. Lousy cast. I hit my knee with the rod, like Nancy Kerrigan. I went Tanya Harding on myself. I wonder what old Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan's up to these days. Tanya Harding was fighting people for a while, like celebrity death match or something. Here we go. Lord Almighty, I fought that. Did you see me fight that snag? I was excited about it too. It felt good. It felt real good. I had my drag set perfectly to where it pulled back for me too. Lord. We're about to break off another one, y'all. You gonna believe this? Oh, goodness gracious. Nope, we got it back. It may have been our hook, but we got it back. Well, we've spooked any fish that were here, so let's keep making our way forward. I actually didn't bend my hook either. Got lucky. Yeah, man, I feel pretty fortunate to live the life I do. And obviously, if I hit the lottery, I'm not going to give that money I'm not going to give it back to the lottery. You know, I'm going to take it, obviously. But I don't know that it would have changed my life dramatically. I think I would still do what I do. And I'd say if a person was an athlete or a movie star, you're probably going to be living in a big city, right? Like if you're a actor or actress, you're going to be out there in Hollywood because that's where you're going to be making the movies. If you're an athlete, you're going to be, at least during the season of whatever sport you play, you're going to be living in the city that you are playing in, the team you're playing for. And so in that situation, obviously, you're going to have more expenses. Cost of living's a whole lot higher in Hollywood than it is in East Tennessee. A lot higher in New York City than what it's going to be in Tennessee. So they're going to need more money and they're going to have a reputation to uphold too. They got to keep up with some Joneses and all. But I'm sure even with them, I mean, when you get Tom Hanks' level of fame and fortune, as many movies as he's been in, I don't know that he's improving his life at all with the next payday. Like the next movie he makes, he'll get a huge check for it. I doubt very seriously he will even notice the change in the money he gets. Oh. It won't hit me. I'm gonna let that sink back down a little bit. Well, let's make our way on up a little bit more. And it is super convenient going into the wind. We can just go up a little ways, spot lock, make a few casts, do it again. I'll turn the live scope this direction to see if I'm seeing a few straggler fish, but not big schools of them. Normally when I'm doing my ultralight fishing, and hell, if I'm in my other kayak, I don't even have access to the live scope. I've gotten so used to fishing without a graph at all that a day like today where I'm just going to be beating the banks, that thing's on, but it's kind of just a novelty thing. I ain't even really paying attention to it. But here's the thing, a day like today where I need bait and I need it now, I do wish I was a little better at the live scope. I mean, I'm sure if I had my cast net, I could use it to net some shad with. That's pretty easy. But as far as using it to target individual larger size crappie like that, I'm not good with. Like I need to be able to see a school of crappie and be able to cast to them. Like that's what I need to have a reasonable expectation of catching them. I've caught some individual crappie using live scope. I've caught some individual catfish doing it. But I'm not proficient at all. Like when I do it, I feel like it's more luck than skill, that I'm actually getting the jig where I need it to be. All right, let's move on up. Maybe one of the other two things is possible here too. One could be I just suck today. That could be it. That's why we're not catching fish. The other thing too, maybe we're just not in the ideal location through here. I don't know enough about this body of water. What I know is, here's what I know for fact. Wherever I go, if I throw this setup here enough, this Gulp Ultralight, I'm going to catch fish. Now, I may not necessarily catch a lot of fish. I may not even get a big variety of fish, but I'm going to catch something. I'm not going to get shut out. Rarely. I'm not going to say never, but rarely am I going to get shut out. But if you're in a place where there are more fish, or if you're at an area where you've got at least the depth figured out, then you can certainly improve your calls. But I don't know enough about this lake to really even know where I should be. I mean, I know there's a thermocline here in the summer. I don't know if there's one currently. We'll figure that out when there's one thump me. There's another one that's going to come with us. Bluegill, no size limit on these. Now, no bigger than he is, we'll probably use him. I'll stick him on a catfish hook. He's gonna be a whole bait pretty much. I'll probably just cut the tail, fillet aside or something, and put the whole thing on. No bigger than he is. So if we're gonna catch bluegill that size, we need several of them. Gonna need a dozen or more probably. We'll eventually grind it out, man. Now, even if we're not in the best possible place, we'll grind it out doing this. That's one thing I know for sure, like we will. You give me this ultralight rod and some Gulp and enough time, and I'm gonna get what I need. But I need it now. I'm impatient. I don't even know what time it's getting to be. Yeah, it's after 1 o'clock. I spent some time this morning, you know, chasing them carp, and it just didn't pan out. I gave it to college try. I'm just not a good carp fisherman. With catfish, the other types of fishing I do, like this ultralight fishing, for instance, I know summertime, it's warm, metabolism's high, there's gonna be some fish up relatively shallow. Like, I get out here and beat the banks, throw at these trees and rocks and various things we come across. Like, I'm gonna catch some fish doing it. I don't have to put a lot of thought into it because I know I'm gonna catch fish. When I go catfishing, I've got to put a little bit more thought into it. But no matter where I go, I'm going to pull up a contour map and I'm going to take a look around, and based on the time of year and the body of water I'm in, I'm going to have a reasonable chance of success because I know how I'm experienced enough with catfish. I know how they are. I know how they move. I kind of have an idea of where they're going to be. And so, I'm snagged again, y'all. Why do you keep casting these places where we get snagged? But like, I can go any place that's got catfish. I can get out there, look at a contour map, and have a pretty good idea of where I need to go, at least where I need to start. And then I can kind of figure it out from there as to whether or not my assumption is right, and based on how I do, I can usually figure out like what I need to do if my initial plan's not working. That's just knowledge and experience. But when it comes to carp, I don't know their seasonal movements, and I don't necessarily know where they're going to be. Where I would be fishing back home right now would be backwaters in the creeks and the coves. Not necessarily because that's where the best carp are at right now, but that's just where I would be, because when I go carp fishing back home, I'm hiding from people. I'm usually doing it on a weekend. I'm trying to get away from people. So I'm gonna go back in these backwater creeks and just hide. And there's carp back there. But when I come somewhere like this, somewhere that's relatively new to me, I've never carp fished here on Hoover before. I don't know. Today I went to a backwater area. Never got the first bite. Maybe that wasn't the play up here. I just don't have the knowledge and experience to be able to look at a map and say, okay, there's going to be carp here, here, here. I can do it with catfish and do it reasonably accurate, but can't do it with carp. And the buffalo that are allegedly in here, shoot, I couldn't tell you where to begin. If there are 40 and 50 pound buffalo in here though, like, this is an untapped resource, man. Like this would be, if I knew what I was doing for buffalo fishing and I knew there were 50 pounders in here, like I'd be putting some time into it. But all I know is what I've been told. As the Goo Goo Dolls, that famous line and that song, Ain't That Unusual, there's a line that says, all we are is what we're told, most of that's been lies. Same thing with the stories of the buffalo up here. Could be lies for all I know. People say, oh yeah, my friend caught a 50 pounder. Well, fish. I've seen a lot of people say they've caught 50-pound catfish too, and they show you a picture of it, and it looks more like 15 versus 50. Everybody gets the big eye when it comes to fish. They overestimate the weight of their fish and underestimate the weight of themselves. So I don't really know if there's huge buffalo up in here or not. But if there are, I would love to catch one. I just don't know how to go about it. Here's something I want to do. I've talked about this in my own mind for a while, and I never do it. But I want to spend some time getting out there and targeting carp in deeper water. It's just to do it, I've got to go out there and hit the deeper water areas. And if I'm going to fish those areas, I'd usually rather fish for catfish, because if I'm going to be exposed to the boat wake and the boat traffic, like I want to be catfishing usually. Carp is kind of my escape. It's my chance to get away from those people. But I would like to spend some time doing it. It's kind of the same thing. Like every winter I say, I'm going to put some time into fishing carp in the winter. Figure out where they go, what they do. Winter rolls around, you know what I ain't doing? I ain't out there carp fishing. I've said it the last 2 or 3 winters that that's what I was going to do, and I don't go out. I don't go back out till spring. Well, I thought coming back up this way would be the ticket, but it ain't working for us much better than going the other direction. We're just more exposed to the wind out here. It is making that jig a little harder to feel. So I'm gonna blame the wind on the reason why I set the hook on them rocks and stumps and stuff there earlier. If the wind hadn't been blowing, I'd have never done that. I'd have never made a fool of myself like that. I do see some stuff on the screen there. I don't think they're very big. It's probably bluegill. Yeah, I'd like to get some bait here and then go eat and then get back out this evening maybe. Leave it alone here this hottest part of the day. Which that could be part of our malfunction here right now too, with this ultralight's just the time of day. Being out here at 1 o'clock in the afternoon ain't really the prime time, but you know what? You need bait, you need bait. And y'all talked me into carp fishing this morning, and we wasted our morning hours, so this is what we're gonna do, by gosh. As I wrap my jig around my line. There we go. There we go, folks. Let's see if we can move on up here a little bit. Get out here toward the channel. But you can see how wide this is right here. It's not very wide at all. It's long. It's a long reservoir, but not very wide. The ramp I put in at's right over there. It's free. Unlike that place I fished yesterday on Sandusky, this one over here is free, which is nice. I hate having to pay to have a daggone boat ramp access. I already pay a ridiculous amount for a fishing license up here as a non-resident, then have to pay for a boat ramp fee too. And then you get back to your car and birds have crapped all over it, man. They ought to be out there with a squeegee. If you're gonna pay $10 to use a boat ramp, there ought to be an attendant out there using a squeegee every time a bird craps on your car. Go ahead and take care of that for you while you're gone. I got at least 20 piles of crap on my car, man. And I'm kind of bad about not washing my car anyway. Like I'm gonna wash my car about once a year maybe. That's about it. Like I don't take great pride in having a clean car or a clean kayak. Although I did, before I left the house the other day, I did wash my other kayak, not this one. This one's a pain to wash because the rough texture on it, like you gotta scrub. You gotta put elbow grease into this thing to get the dirt out of it. My other one, you pretty much just hose it down, wet it, sponge it off, spray it again, and you're good. It's got a much smoother plastic on it. It's just a easier texture to clean. So I don't really mind washing it, but it was pretty dirty, so I gave it a little sponge bath. So whenever I fish out of it again, we'll be fishing in clean kayak. That wind keeps blowing my line. I wonder if that's affecting how it's falling down, I wonder. That wind hits your line, puts a bow in it, it'll carry them lighter weight jigs sometimes. I don't know that I want to put a heavier jig head on though. I like to kind of keep the profile. Since most of the bluegill, won't hit me. Since most of the bluegill that we're getting have been on the smaller side, I really don't want to put on a bigger profile jig or use a bigger hook or anything. I tried casting in front of that dock so the wind would blow my line toward it, and now the wind quit. Bad timing, wind. It's definitely not as many fish so far ultralight fishing this year as last year, which could be just the timing and all too. Last year being here in the spring versus now middle of summer. That could be part of it. That could play a role, certainly. Time of day. I know that ultralight video that I had filmed last year was in the afternoon, evening hours, versus being out here today, getting started, probably about noon, I guess. I see these bushes over there like that. You see that grass sticking up out of the water right there in the bushes. Man, I saw places like that where I was at today, and I'm like, man, there ought to be carp all up in that. but then I couldn't get a bite. Oh, oh, tap. Tap, tap, taparoo. Tap, tap, tap it in. I definitely wish I'd wore my flip-flops now, though. Put my boots on because it was a little cool this morning, especially since my body has adapted to the hotter temperatures we've been having at home. But now that the sun's out and it's warmed up here, like it's hot. I got down in them weeds or tree or whatever it was there. I got it back. But we're real shallow right here. It's 3 foot. This pocket here must be shallow. Let's make our way over here to these rocks. I see some more riprap over here. Riprap on the bank and some riffraff out here on the water. I think somebody's got a jug out there or something, like a fishing jug. I think them kayaks are just paddling around waiting on that thing to go under. They might too. There's some big cats up here, y'all. For no bigger than this is, there's some really big cats up here. All right, let's get over here and make a cast or two with these rocks. We're gonna fish our way around through here. If it don't get any better, I'm gonna just say to hell with it, go get some lunch and come back out this afternoon and finish catching bait. That's what I'm gonna end up doing. I am getting pretty hungry. Y'all didn't pack me no lunch, didn't even pack a snack or anything. I don't know what kind of friend you are. You know, I fish with Pro Moderator, which I rarely do. But sometimes in the winter, when he ain't bass fishing all the time, he'll want to go catfishing. So he'll come fishing with me. Every time he comes, he always brings snacks and a sandwich. He even packs one for me. He's gonna make somebody a good housewife someday. That's what I always tell him anyway. I don't ever see him no more though. He got him a woman and he's doing stuff with her all the time. He ain't got time for no friends. Yeah, I think they're just up there working them jugs or something. I see one of them. They got them old flimsy, unstable kayak, Pelicans or whatever. They latch on to a big cat in one of them things. They're in for a ride. Here we go. Let's see what this is. Is this a bluegill or a crop? Oh, that's a nice bluegill. We'll definitely keep him. All right, bluegill. Let's set you back here too, good buddy. Nice bluegill. One of the better ones. We ain't got no really great quality, and I don't know what kind of quality bluegill are in here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, is a 6-inch bluegill a good bluegill here? Is 8-inch a good bluegill? Are there other parts of this reservoir that maybe hold some 9, 10-inch class? I don't know. I'd like to know. But I mean, again, let's say we went on a road trip. We come out here and fish 2 or 3 hours, get on the road, go hit the next place in the afternoon. Like, we could catch a ton of fish doing that. Because I mean, even out here today, how long have we been doing this crap now? Hour and a half. We've caught several fish for an hour and a half. I mean, I obviously, because I need bait, it's taken away from the experience a little bit because it's a need more than just a want. But I mean, we've caught several fish in an hour and a half. Oh, I had one nipping. So I mean, it's not been a horribly unproductive trip or anything. It's not like we've been out here casting forever and just not getting anything. But there's something that changes in your mindset when you need something versus just wanting something. And I noticed that years ago in regards to skipjack. Because when I was a teenager, I'd oftentimes go fish off the bank, catch skipjack. Had a great time, loved it. Then I got into catfishing, started needing to catch skipjack. And then all of a sudden, oh, I got thumped. That may be a crappie. Nope, bluegill. He thumped it hard though, man. That's another one we're going, oh, bluegill, you stuck me. Let's get that hook out of you. That's another one we're going to throw. We'll throw him in the cooler. I thought for sure that was a crappie because he thumped it, man. He's got that jig just deep enough. It's hard to get to. Afraid I'm gonna damage my line right there, trying to get it out. There we go. Yeah, on the smaller side of what I'd like to keep, but beggars ain't gonna be choosers out here, folks. But yeah, when I went from wanting to catch skipjack because it's just fun to needing to catch skipjack because need them for catfish bait, the days where I'd go out and only catch 1 or 2 or 3 skipjack, I would have still had a really good time doing that before. But then once I started needing them, it's like, oh man, I only got 2, I only got 3, I needed however many. And it just takes away from it. And so it's kind of like that today in a sense. Don't get me wrong, I'm still enjoying this, I'm having fun. But there is that sense of needing to catch some fish. I would even make the argument too that it's like that in tournament fishing, where a normal day I go out, catch some fish. I got one pecking right here. Has he got it? Yeah, he's got it. Oh, let it go. But you go out in a tournament, you catch some fish, have a good time. But maybe you're not getting the tournament winning fish. If you wasn't in a tournament, you was just going out there and getting the fish you got. Man, I've had several tournaments like that where it's like, man, I had a pretty good day of fishing, but then it don't translate on the scoreboard. Like you're going up against people that maybe had better days of fishing. And so it takes away from what you've done, even though you still got to go out and catch some fish. So it's really, it just, you know what it is really? It's just all about your mindset. If you can just learn to be happy with whatever the river gives you or the lake gives you. Go out with no expectations. Just go out and do whatever it is you like doing, whatever style, whatever method. And it's different for everybody. You see me go catfishing, I like suspend fishing. There are times I will go, if I can catch fish on a suspended bait, that's what I'm going to try to do. Even if I know in my mind it may not be the best technique that particular day for either numbers of fish or big fish. But I still want to do it because it's fun. If you can live with that kind of mentality and mindset all the time, like, boy, you're in a powerful place with your own life. We get so wrapped up in competitions, whether it be tournaments or just not even like real competitions like tournaments, just imaginary competitions in our minds, like, well, so-and-so's doing this, or, you know, this person caught this, or whatever, you know. Sally got a new dress, so now I got to go get a new dress. You know, women do the same thing. It ain't just a man thing, but boy, if you can cut out all that noise and just focus on doing what you love to do and making yourself happy, like, man, you're in a dang good place in life. I'm gonna let that thing sink down. I saw my jig coming out. I saw it coming across that drop, and I'm just gonna let it sink down a little bit. Now we'll bring it up. Got him. Got him all right. Well, he may have already had it. He was up under. Oh, that's crappie. He was swimming up under the kayak. He's another one, though, it's going to be short. I ain't even going to throw him on the board because he's nowhere near 9 inches. Little old thing. Yeah, so let me show you this right quick on the graph if we can with the glare and all. So that transducer, it's facing the bank over here right now. So you can see it comes out. We got some fish up in here, looks like. And it comes out and then levels out down here. And I saw my jig come off this, and I saw some fish down here, and I let it drop down and then started reeling up, and that's when we got that crappie. So that one that's sitting still right there may be a crappie too, potentially. This, don't paint it, that's the ghost tree. That's just interference right here. That's not an actual tree right there in front of us. But them right there on the bottom may be some crappie potentially. I'm gonna have to do something with our battery in a minute. My battery is about dead because normally I get about 4 hours out of the setup I use, but I'd tried to film my carp fishing trip first thing, which obviously didn't work out, but I used a lot of battery life during that. I'm not going to do this too terribly much longer anyway. We're either going to catch some more fish here or we're going to go get some lunch, one of the two. I do want to just, I want to throw just like right out there and let that thing sink down. I want it to go all the way to the bottom. The wind's gonna blow that bow in my line. Because we do have some fish there, not too far out from us. Thumped it. He thumped it. Was that a bass? Oh, it's crappie. You see that right there? Let me let him flop a second. was trying to get those fish right there. I see them. I think those are crappie because they're just sitting still right there. I see them move every once in a while. Unfortunately, I think they're probably small crappie if they are. This one here is certainly small. But it's good to actually get our money's worth out of that live scope, ain't it, crappie? To actually see something on there and be able to throw to it. Let's try it again. You want to? Just got to be patient and let it sink down there. It's 10 feet deep. Takes a little bit for that jig to get down to 10 feet. I am not known for having the best patience in the world. I'm gonna have to switch this battery out in a second, y'all. If the camera cuts off, I'll pop a new battery in. After this cast, if the battery survives this cast, I'm gonna pop a new battery in. So this video technically won't be uncut, but it's still gonna be as close as possible. Y'all seeing everything I'm doing out here. Oh, I had another one. Let me let it sink back down. Bring it up again. Got it. You got it on the way up. Another crappie. Another shorty. They fun to catch anyway though, man. I've said it a million times with the Ultralight. Everything's fun to catch on an Ultralight, even a 7-inch crappie. All right, y'all, battery on its fumes. We're running out of fumes there. Let me switch out a battery, we'll be right back. Okay, folks, we're back in the game temporarily. I turned the camera back on after putting a new battery in. It tells me my microphone is now about dead. I only got 10% battery left on the microphone, so this video is apparently going to be around 2 hours today, because that's about all we're going to have going for us battery life wise for now. I will have to charge my microphone back. I got extra camera batteries. I can't do nothing about the microphone battery. It's got an internal battery, and the wind's blowing enough, it would be a lot of wind noise on the camera here if I go without the microphone on this particular camera. So I guess we'll fish here till it dies. Oh, I about had me another one. I put in a new battery. I put in a new Gulp. I should have got me a Gulp of my water. Yeah, I'm gonna fish just a few more minutes. We'll either get something else or not here. When I get back over there to the car, I'm gonna take a look at my cooler and see what we've got working with as far as bait goes. I'm probably gonna have to get back out. I'm gonna go get some lunch somewhere. I'm hungry and I'm hot. I wanna go get something cold to drink and something to eat. I'm probably going to have to put in some more time this afternoon to getting bait, and then just focus on catfishing in the morning. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. If I can get some more bait, I'll take my catfish rods with me this afternoon when I get back out, but I'm probably not going to get to spend as much time on it as what I would have liked to. Or I may this afternoon go try to get some bait and then maybe try to redeem myself and I've still got a bunch of carp bait left because I didn't use very much this morning, so I may try to redeem myself. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do this afternoon, but I do know here in a few minutes, probably when this microphone battery dies, I'm gonna go ahead and just go grab some lunch and regroup a little bit and figure out where we need to go from here. see how much bait we've actually got in the cooler. I ain't been keeping track or anything, how many we've been put in there. If I'm gonna fish 4 or 5 hours in the morning catfishing, I wanna have it. I'm only gonna be fishing 3 rods because that's all you can use here in Ohio is 3 rods per person. But then bluegill being so small, it's probably gonna be, each bluegill is probably gonna give us 1 bait. So we're gonna need several. Assuming we end up going bluegill because we can't get no crappie or anything. I mean, we're getting crappie, but not, you know what I mean, not keeper size. That's the better bluegill right here now. This will be one we throw in the box. All right, bluegill. Happy to have you, buddy. Yeah, man, there's just, I don't know what that is. There's something kind of sticking up there. And there's some fish right there around it. Lousy cast, but we'll make it work. Live scope paying dividends, y'all. I just happened to glance down and see that. And I saw my jig swimming off that ledge at one point. And I saw that fish and I dropped it down and we caught it. So that's one of them things. If I was better at live scope, man, that would be one of them things we would probably key in on more often. But I'm just not. And I've talked about this before. Honestly, it kind of takes away from your fishing experience a little bit when you're looking at that damn screen the whole time. Like I won't say I'm old school enough, maybe I'm just old enough that I kind of enjoy nature. And when you're casting at the shoreline, you're noticing birds and squirrels and any other things that's going on the shoreline. When you're doing this live scope crap, all you can really focus on, there's fish, is the screen. Especially if you're trying to watch your jig on the screen. I'm not doing that. I saw my jig that one cast there, but I'm not actively watching my jig on the screen right now. Hold on a minute, y'all. This is going to be an interesting test. My microphone has apparently died. So I'm very curious right now if I have audio or not. When I was running an external mic with it, when the external mic would die, the GoPro mic would not take back over. I'm curious if that's happened on this. I'm gonna turn the camera off and restart it. Just reviewed the footage. Apparently the other microphone took over. That's amazing. Again, GoPro. Why is it they're not able to do that? That would always used to frustrate me so bad, y'all. That's why I quit using the external mic on my GoPro, because there were so many times I would get home and something went wrong. Like it didn't cross over to the camera. Maybe it was a cord getting wiggled, whatever reason. I'd get home and I'd be on mute. I wouldn't have any audio because the GoPro microphone wouldn't take over when the external mic stopped for whatever reason. But DJI apparently it did. It just picked right up. So that's pretty awesome. DJI for the win. Now if DJI could ever just get their video quality to be as good as GoPro, we'd really be set. But you can't have it all in life, people. You can't have it all. Unless you're Jennifer Lawrence. And she's got it all, folks. I think them people in the kayak up there sitting around that one jug up there, just waiting on that thing to go down. I'm seeing more fish right down there on whatever that is. I don't see my jig, but I gotta be somewhat near it, you would think. Apparently pulled it all the way through them and never got their attention. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a few more casts at this, folks. I'm ready to go eat. I thought I'd bring y'all with me here on this part of the road trip for those of you that's interested in following along regularly, and if you're somebody just interested in maybe this is your first trip with me, or maybe you're just into the ultralight videos I do, well, hey, glad to have you either way. We've had a slow but productive session out here. Some bluegill, some crappie, mostly smalls, but got him. That's what this is. Oh, another bluegill too. Good, good, good. We'll take it. That's a better one. I just squeezed my legs together there to hold my fishing pole while I was dealing with that fish, and I think I've done something there with the motor. I hope I didn't pull us out of position, because we were right there where we needed to be. Look at that cast. What the hell have I done? Y'all didn't see that. Y'all didn't see it. Thank goodness this is toward the end of the video and nobody's still watching, because that was an embarrassing cast. Okay, we're back on it now. There's a bunch of sailboats down here. Looks like they're all just doing circles around each other. What silliness. I've had some of my Ohio friends have told me that the sailboats up here can be a real pain. I always push back, and I'm like, I'd rather have sailboats than houseboats and wakeboarders. But they're like, Justin, they can be a real problem. And I see about 20 of them down there all doing circles. I don't know what they're doing. At least over here where we're at, though, they ain't in our way, we ain't in their way. I think when I hit the button on my motor, I think it moved us toward the right there. We're still somewhere near that thing, though. We know if we get that jig down there about 10 feet and work it along the bottom, there's some fish. Just a matter of having the patience to get it down there and work it real slow. Y'all know me, I struggle with patience. You get on a real active bite with this ultralight and the Gulp, you can catch a lot of fish on the fall. Just cast it out, let it sink, catch fish. And so I think I almost get in a rush sometimes. There was something jumping right up there. And to the point that I don't even oftentimes really work the jig back to me. Like if I don't get bit on the fall, I just go ahead and reel it in, instead of just properly working it back. And that probably cost us a lot of fish. Of course, I end up making more casts by doing that, and so who knows, but either way, it's impatience on my part. We'll let this one sink down a good ways here. I think my face is getting sunburnt, y'all. I got the buff over my ears and chin, but I feel like my nose is getting burnt. Normally I ain't fishing this hour of the day. I like to do my fishing in the morning and go to the house, but on these road trips I feel a little bit more compelled to stick with it longer and maybe do multiple sessions, just for the fact that, well, hell, I'm on a road trip. What else am I going to do? Sit in a hotel? That ain't no fun. Even if it is a nice, comfortable bed. So I'm just out here more, which I'll pay the price when I get home, between the hours riding in the car and hours sitting in a kayak. Like, I'll pay the price physically for it. Okay, I'm on bottom there. I'll see my jig. I'm gonna take the camera here and try to show you. Right here's my jig. I don't know if I can get my finger pointing or not. You can't barely see it for the ghost tree. I'm right in that mess there. It's right there under us. Fish too. Well, I just held it there long enough and we got us one. Another one of these short crappie though. Yeah, this afternoon I'm going to have to try to get some better crappie, which means I'm going to have to get out there in open water and just look, because these right here, that's not even going to be 8 inches. So yeah, that's going to be a challenge. I definitely need some crappie though for tomorrow. Let's make one more cast. Let's get the hell out of here. Go get something to eat. I gotta figure out what I want to eat today. Probably whatever's easiest to get in and out of. Last night I had Panda Express just because it was convenient. It was on that side of the road by the hotel. I definitely don't want it again though. Wouldn't mind finding a longhorn up here. I'm sure they got one, but I don't know where it's at. Fish on that, whatever that is down there. There's something on bottom right there. I can't make it out with the live scope, but like it's definitely holding some fish. Bluegill and crappie. We've caught a mixture of both. The wind picks back up a little bit. Hopefully that wind ain't driving us crazy here without the fancy pants microphone. Oh, that's a fish. Another crappie. What do you think about it, crappie? You think we could sit down here and catch 20 more of you? I probably could, but I'm gonna go get something to eat. So you out of luck. He says, show you, Justin, I got hooked deep. Let's just... Yeah, just barely over 8 inches right there. Small crappie. Little old thing, but they're a cute fish. I don't catch a lot of crappie like that at home. I mean, I get on crappie sometimes, but I don't catch a lot of just numbers of crappie. That was one thing I noticed here last year. Like, I really caught a lot of crappie, like way more than what I get back home. I think maybe it's just maybe they're more abundant in here or something. But either way, I'm gonna leave them biting because there's a bunch still right there that we're kind of setting around. Here's something stage. That's probably bluegill right there, or shad. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna wrap it up for now. Go over here to the launch, take a look at my cooler, evaluate what I've got for bait. I think I'm gonna need some more though, so I'm gonna go get something to eat, come back. I may hit a different area. I'm not gonna come back here. I'll maybe hit a different area. There's like 3 ramps out here, I think, 3 or 4. Hit a different one and do some more ultralight fishing. Maybe get out in open water and look around for some crappie there. That's probably gonna be my best bet for better quality crappie. And then if I got some time this evening, maybe catfish, but definitely hit it tomorrow with whatever we've got. So If my next video is a catfish trip from up here, things went well. If it's not, well, things didn't. So either way, anyway, thanks for coming with me on this trip, y'all. I'll see you in the next one.